And joining us in studio is Refilwe Ntsege, DA National Spokesperson. And we also have Alvin from the ACDP, and Professor Sipho Siepe is with us as well. Thanks for joining us again. You're surprised with the reaction that the DA advertisement had gotten. The provocation, of course, from the ANC is very much heard and felt.
No, it doesn't come as a surprise. I think the ANC wants to monopolize its heroes. And what the DA is actually saying is that they consider Nelson Mandela to be somebody who's beyond the narrow politics. They're saying we subscribe to his views. And in a sense, if the ANC wants to do something, they could also repeat it by having their own advert where Nelson Mandela talks about the DA. And he has actually said something about the DA. So, but I think ultimately it should be really about what message are you sending. Really also to cling to also the past. What we are faced with right now are challenges. And both parties should actually find ways in which they are actually saying these are the issues we're going to respond to the people about. These are the challenges that our people are facing, and this is where we stand. But I don't think quibbling around Mandela is going to take the ANC any far. But also I don't think the ANC can still respond. But what is most important is not really Mandela. What is important is the voters.
Yeah. Do you think this very jealous guarding of struggle icons, especially on the part of the ANC, like Professor Siepe is saying, deviates attention from the real issues at play?
Firstly, I would say thank you for this opportunity. I would like to greet everybody in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah. So I would say Mandela, he's a father of democracy. So, I mean, there's no ownership, for example. You cannot own an individual. So he's for everybody. He's for the whole South Africa. So I think the whole political debate around Mandela and using his voice, for example, DA in the advert, I mean, we've got much more important things to worry about.
Okay, but Refilwe, don't you think the DA missed an opportunity to really articulate the credentials, the achievements that you've had in areas where you govern, as opposed to perpetually pointing a finger and finding fault within the ANC?
I don't think the advert actually talks about fault in the ANC. We talk about a message that Nelson Mandela laid out.
Empty promises, you show litter,
no, I'm talking the
thrown
particular
around.
advert that we're talking about here, where this particular advert actually says, let there be justice, let there be jobs, let there be freedom for all South Africans. And this is the message that we're actually carrying to South Africans. And if you look at, we've got a series of different ads that some have played, some are still coming, and some of them talk to our successes where we govern. Because we can already say that where we've governed, even if you look at the stats that have come out, what we've been able to give South Africans, how we are able to improve the lives of ordinary South Africans out there in the areas that we govern. So it's not just a one-stop shop in terms of one advert conveying the message. And even if you look at, we've had our manifesto launch, which tells South Africans, this is what we're going to be doing for you as South Africans. I mean, we've got 3 key messages. We want to stop corruption, we want to have jobs for all South Africans, and we want service delivery for all South Africans. Those are the critical messages that we're sending to South Africans today.
Professor Siepe, it's very exciting though. I think this is probably the biggest contestation we've seen in an election, especially with opposition parties are making such incredible inroads.
No, I think what we need to do is to affirm our democracy. I mean, if you look at the extent to which parties are going out there, I mean, you look at the DA that is fielding candidates in almost every ward. You see the number of interested parties who are also going independent. And even the violence that we see, it's really people wanting to participate. What it means that they are saying we're taking this democracy seriously. But what is most important is that we need to make sure that when it is done orderly. But I see South Africans being very excited about these local elections, and I think it's kudos to them that after so many years you have so much interest. But going back to the issues of Nelson Mandela, I do think that what is most important right now is not to quibble about the man. What is most important is really to say what are the issues that affect the majority of our people and deal with those things. And if Mandela was alive, he would have wanted that to be the case. But before he died, he was very clear about which party he belongs to. And he even said, when I go wherever to heaven, the first place I'm going to ask is that where's the ANC branch? So that is really, for me, neither here nor there. And I think the DA can construct a message, but what it does, because it also has some of the people who have played a role in this democracy. I mean, you have the Helen Suzman Foundation, Helen Suzman, who Mandela himself had praised, who Oliver Tambo had also praised. So they don't. We should not be getting into the squabbles about the dead. Let's deal with the living and the issues.
And show the dead the dignity they deserve. Now into other stories, I guess of course will stay with us, but other stories now. The National Freedom Party is in damage control as the reality of the exclusion from this year's local elections sink in. How will the NFP members vote, and will this be to the advantage of the IFP? In an interview with ANN7, IFP leader Dr. Mangosuthu Buthelezi denied any claims that he had a hand in the NFP's disqualification. The veteran also said he holds no grudge against the NFP leader Zanele Magwazi Msibi, saying that she had the democratic right to split from the IFP. The IFP confirmed that they have welcomed back many NFP members, including senior leaders.
We've already accepted thousands, I'm not exaggerating, thousands, including top leaders of the NFP, because they had the right. Our national chairperson, Mr. Magwazi Msibi, had a right to change her mind, to found the party, and democracy is about choice, and therefore I didn't have a grudge against her for doing so, although of course it was painful to split the party as such. So many people have come back to the party, and actually we welcome them. Personally, I've always said that we've never had a fair and free election in this country. From '94, there's never been, I say this repeatedly, because there are many things we have complained about, even to the IEC, even opposition party in parliament have actually agreed with me, and we signed a letter together complaining, for instance, that some of the voting districts are actually supervised by members of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SADTU, which is an affiliate of COSATU, which is part of the tripartite with the ANC.
The IFP is expected to be the most beneficial party from the NFP blunder and failure to contest in the local government elections. IFP leader Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi says there will be no ill treatment to NFP members who've come to their senses and returned home. Zintle Mgadi, ANN7, Mandeni.
So we pose this question to you. Who will benefit from the NFP's exit from the municipal polls? And you have a multiple choice of questions. A, for the ANC, B, the IFP, C, other parties. And you're most welcome to share your opinion on our website. That's ANN7.com, or you can tweet at ANN7TV. And to explore the question a little bit further, we have our guests in studio to get their reactions. And the spoils are out there. The DA, very vigorous, I must admit, and aggressive in your campaigning. I even get SMSs. I'm wondering, where do you access the database?
Well, look, we started our electioneering on the 9th of May 2014. So it's not like we start campaigning now because the election is looming. The day of an election is the beginning of the next election for us. So we go door to door. We believe that it's important that there's voter contact. And obviously when we do voter contact, we update our own database. That's why our database is so good.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't signed up with the DA, for example.
But
so how do you get my access?
Interaction with obviously we buy databases from various places, and we update it by doing the various door-to-door, by having voter contact. And that's how we get, and basically it's important for us that our voters or people that we believe could be supporting the DA get contact from us in one way or another.
Okay, ACDP, what are you doing differently, innovations, particularly going after this voter base that is now in limbo of the NFP?
We've been campaigning for quite some time as well. But we also stand for integrity. What is integrity? Doing the right thing when no one is watching. So that's our principle. So if you can do the right thing and we can make South Africa a better place, I would say you vote for the ACDP. Why not give us a chance? And we will prove it to you, because we have a zero tolerance when it comes to non-compliance or non-performing councillors. We've got councillors who has a passion to do so. Passion meaning you can spend the overtime. You don't even need the money. You will still do the job.
Yeah, it also has to do with pedigree, whether you have the track record, Professor Siepe, the credentials, having served for so long. Perhaps the ANC still has that advantage, although they may not rest on their laurels.
Yeah, I think, look, the parties have played a major role. That's why they're represented in Parliament. I mean, the DA, remember 1994, the ANC was the only main player and the DA was just a small party. They first won the city and they won the province. But what it means is that there is also a maturing in our democracy where people are saying we make a choice. And we have also seen new independents coming in. Some of them coming from the ANC. We saw COPE, we saw EFF and all that. So effectively there is a degree of sophistication that is taking place. And people are saying that we are looking at the menu. And with the NFP now out of the picture, what it means the other parties are going to say, look at our policies and you might find us attractive. For those people who might want a party that has a Zulu origin and has a Zulu, they might go to the IFP. But for some others who say, well, we would like a party that will hold the ruling party in check, they might go to the DA. Those who are Christian might join the SD. So what we have is that, and what you guys are providing is really to say, there's a beautiful menu you can choose, and I think South Africans are ready and are eager. But most importantly, we must also mention that local government is where government is actually felt. That is, if a party has wrong policies, they are actually felt at the lower level, because that's where the people experience government closest.
Okay, we'll continue with the policies and how you will effect change. Let's go on to other stories now. And life goes on for the parties that are still in the fray. President Jacob Zuma is on a door-to-door campaign in Tshwane in a bid to drum up support for the ANC ahead of the local government elections. Now, the controversial metro has seen protests over the past months over the selection of Thoko Didiza as the mayoral candidate. Addressing community members in Hammanskraal, Zuma urged voters to ensure that Tshwane stays with the ANC. He told voters not to make the mistake of voting for independence.
So if you haven't decide, so basically
uma singakafiki kwenye indawo kusho ukuthi siyeza ayikho indawo esingeke siyilungise ukuthi asikwazi ukuyilungisa ngelanga elilodwa kodwa siyeza ngayo yonke into ayikho ke enye inhlangano engakwazi ukwenza lokho eSouth Africa ngaphandle kweANC.
Certainly in democracy there will be people who will be dissatisfied, but a capacity to address those by the ANC distinguishes the ANC from all other parties. So I'm very happy. I'm actually clear that Pretoria is safe in the hands of the ANC. No doubt about it.
Uma ungumuntu wase-South Africa wazi ukuthi ivoti lalwelwa as a right sasingenalo kwafa abantu awukwazi ukudlala ngevoti ulahle ungalazi ukuthi leyaphi kufanele uzolifaka la ekhaya kwakhongolose ukhongolose wehlukile kwezinye inhlangano ngoba ukhongolose wakhiwa abantu base-South Africa bonke.
He can help us because we don't have geysers where we stay, while others have. And ANC gave me a government job.
Work for the government.
The main problem that we are facing here is only internal roads. But others, we are happy about many things we are covered because ANC have helped us a lot. Even now we've got title deeds in West Proper. Face we've got a title deeds, so ANC can help us. Even we've got other sharks that side. That sharks is a new settlement. That new settlement we are looking for many things. You see, basic things, sanitation, electricity, and so many things.
The government needs to give many schools more tablets so that many grade 12s can do their homeworks well, their schoolworks well, because there's still lack of tablets in many high schools.
Now, the Free State is regarded as the home of the African National Congress, and the party is going all out to ensure that they retain control of Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality. Conducting a door-to-door campaign in Tabanchu, the ANC says it is confident of a victory.
In this door-to-door, as far as the 23rd of not the 24th, but the 3rd of August, till the last day. The main challenges are the unfinished RDPs And then, as you can see, this ward here, challenges mainly is the roads. Yes, and as the ANC, we have promised as before that we'll come and gravel this road because, I mean, there's no infrastructure here.
The ANC's business is all about improving and developing our people. So that is the mission that I want to take forward in making sure that whatever is going to happen in this world, it will be the responsibility of the African National Congress through me as the award candidate, provided that I am supported and the ANC is voted into power in this world.
I am not going anywhere. I understand wholeheartedly that I am here in this house because of them. They have done great things for me that I can see with my very own eyes. I am satisfied with everything.
I do vote, and I will vote for the ANC. The ANC has made me feel like a person. I am a person of the ANC. Mandela brought Ubuntu, and today we are people.
ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe was the star of the ANC's door-to-door campaign in Buffalo City Metro in the Eastern Cape. The party is hoping to consolidate its political dominance in the Metro in the upcoming elections.
The ANC in Buffalo City took their election campaign door-to-door, led by ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe. The presence of the party's number 3 is a boost to the mayoral ambitions of Xola Phakathi and other ward candidates hoping to do well in the August election.
We're doing it door to door, that we're doing in every area. But this area is particularly important because it's one of those communities that are so-called colored communities. And opposition think that it's their easy-go area. And they can take votes from the ANC here. We are doing door-to-door here. People welcome us. They have no problem with the ANC.
The Ward 19 is currently governed by the DA but was painted yellow for the day, and the party has made clear their intentions.
And they will be surprised because with Graham there, we are going to win this area, hands down.
We're talking of jobs, we're talking about creating jobs, we're talking about service delivery, we're talking about stopping corruption. Okay, what do we need to do? What are we going to do? By creating jobs, we will make sure that the investors, they come and invest money and invest in our city to make sure that the jobs are available for the young people.
The door-to-door campaign has had the desired impact, and voters are feeling upbeat about the coming polls. I am very well, and I feel so much at ease.
The battle begins between the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance in Ward 19 within the Buffalo City Metro municipality. The August 3rd polls are the only thing that will determine who the residents want to govern this particular ward. Nomusa Pungula, East London, SA decides.
Now, parties are going all out to vie for votes, and what are the chances for the opposition parties? Refilwe Ntsakhe is a DA national spokesperson, Alvin Govender is a ACDP Youth Foundation spokesperson, and Professor Sipho Siepe is an independent political analyst. And just continuing on the vein of vying for votes, there's a lot of promises that are being made, service delivery. On the one insert, the DA councillor saying that they will attract investors to I suppose, stimulate the economy. How exactly, Refilwe?
I think, Sydney, I hate to talk about opinions. I prefer to use facts in terms of how we do delivery. Let's look at all the stats that have been presented to us by Stats SA and other research houses. If you look at the top 10 municipalities in South Africa, 9 of those are governed by the DA. And if you look at the job losses in the first quarter of 2016, Cape Town, where other municipalities were losing jobs, we created 4,000 jobs. So I think those are facts that speak for themselves.
Okay, you created jobs in which industries?
I'm talking within Cape Town. This is private-public partnerships. In fact, if you look this month, within the end of June, there was a in Daba held in Ekurhuleni, where the facilitator actually said the best private-public partnership is actually working in the Western Cape, and that's why they're able to create jobs more than any other province in South Africa right now.
Okay, the ACDP, in arguing that the ANC will say they're the first government to give people electricity, housing, and they've got the figures to back it up as well. What is your counter offer to the voters?
Well, firstly, as the ACDP, it's been 22 years. If the ANC provided electricity for everyone, as they say they did, why are people still complaining that they do not have power, don't have access to water? So if in that case, you know what, we are there, ACDP, we will provide, we will put our people first as priority because they put us in government, for example, in parliament. I just want to clear one thing as well. ACDP is not a church. It's a political party based on biblical principles. So it's not for only Christians. It's for everybody there. We are yet to put the community first at hand. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, when it comes to the value proposition for the ANC, as mentioned, Professor Siepe, it's a very tough order or tall order to match for other opposition parties. And the DA, I mean, I don't know, my personal opinion is that you're not taking the advantage of putting your credentials forward. It's always like you're altruistic, you'll be perfect, and everybody else is at fault.
Well, that's actually, I think there's a message that is a narrative that is very dangerous in this country, and all parties seems to fall for it. What should be the emphasis should be on empowerment of the people, not on delivery to the people. South Africans are not infants, and we should not treat them like infants. What we need to do is talk about the partnership where the people build themselves. So the whole notion, narrative of delivery, it's almost like you hear people say, I've voted 3 times, I still don't have a house. And what we do, we cheapen what democracy is all about. It's almost like a transaction. So we need to begin to reshape the discourse. And the DA has done, like I said, it has done well in terms of selling its message. That's why it runs the province. But it is also very dangerous for them. And I think the ANC is sleeping on this matter. When they talk about we in the top 10 or top 9 is by the DA. What we need to do is to start disaggregating that where do we find those? Do we find those in largely black communities, or do we find them in white communities? Because we should not run the risk of almost privileging what apartheid has endowed white communities. Because when you go to white communities, you find that there's the tax base. And if they were to succeed in also very poor areas like Kaili Cha or Langa and all that, then we'll be talking. But I think what is good, which is happening, is that there's a blackening of the DA. Effectively what it means is that the members of the DA who are black will also begin to start talking about the concerns of black people because they come from those spaces. This is why the speech by Maimane on racism was such an important speech. And what we expected them is to take it to the next level, because what it was saying that people say now, these guys are now beginning to talk our language because racism is a reality and black people go through that, and they want parties that are also sensitive to that to that message or to that experience. And but I do think that our politics in terms of diversity of views, but also the blackening is very good, because ultimately it's about the majority of this country.